Hi, this is Mr. Ng. I'm going over the Geometry Day quiz number 15 that was on February 6, 2015. This quiz was out of 41 points. For questions 1 to 5, decide if the conditional statement is true or false. If false, provide a counterexample. So if you are at school, then you are in geometry class. This is false because you can come up with a counterexample. So your counterexample could be, it's saying if you're in school, then you must be in geometry class. That's the only class you're in. Well, you can be in another class, physics, Spanish, French, history class. So 2 points for false and then 2 points for a correct counterexample. Question number 2, if it is a fox, then it is an animal. That is true, a fox is an animal. Question number 3, if 2 points line a plane, here's my 2 points, I drew something, draw a picture, it's very helpful, then a line connecting them lies in the plane, that is also true. Number 4, if 2 lines intersect, so here's my 2 lines, they will form 2 acute angles and 2 obtuse angles. That could be true if you just draw any other try to get some marking tools on here. Any other lines, but if you if you just draw like something like this, that would be acute, or maybe that's the tubes and these are acute, but my counterexample is if the lines were perpendicular. If they're perpendicular, they would form right angles, which is 90 degrees, and they're not acute, nor are they obtuse. Question number 5. If x squared equals 16, then x must, when you see that equals 4, that second part must equal. Well, the counterexample is when you set x squared equal to 16, take square root of both sides. X can actually be positive and negative 4, so x equals negative 4 is my counterexample. Question number 6. Rewrite the following by conditional statement as a conditional, so that means we have to insert the words if and then, and its converse. So then we have to take the converse and decide whether the biconditional statement is true or false. So here's my biconditional. It's a biconditional because it has the words if and only if. If 2 angles are vertical, if and only if they are congruent. So to make this conditional, I have the words if and I have the words then here. If 2 angles are vertical angles, then they are congruent. Then those angles are congruent. That is true. The converse says if they are congruent, if those angles are congruent, then the 2 angles are vertical angles. Or I'm going to put in that word must or absolutely must be. Then 2 angles must be, and the only condition or the only example is vertical angles. Well, I can think of 2 angles that are congruent, and I can have something like an angle bisector. So it is false, and there's my counterexample. Is a biconditional statement true or false? It is false because remember, both these conditional and converse must be true. On this problem, if you stated the converse correctly but don't have a counterexample, I give you 3 points out of 4. All right, so the multiple choice questions for number 2. Identify the converse for the given conditional statement. If 2 segments have the same length, then they are congruent. So essentially you're just taking this part and switching it over here. And then you're going to take that part and you're going to make it over here. Just say if they are congruent, then the 9 segments have the same length. So I don't have any of those, that's why it's choice D. Rewrite the conditional statement if-then form. So I have to insert the words if and then. If the 2 angles are a linear pair, then they are adjacent, that would be their choice C. For questions 9 and 10, it says fill in the blank to justify the statement. So you're going to write something here in this blank, and you need to justify. So think about what's happening here. AB plus BC equals AC, then AB equals AC minus BC. So what's different about this statement to this statement? Well, I noticed that AC here is by itself at first, but then over here, AC has this subtracting segment BC. Well, if you subtract BC from both sides, you'll get this. So subtraction property equality. If 33 degrees equals the measure of angle 4, then the measure of angle 4 equals 33 degrees. Some people call this transitive. I will use the word substitution. Question number 11 is a two-column proof. So the first thing you do is you just take this given information, just copy it in your first one, and then you write given as your reason. I should have reason up there. Let's see if I can write it. Oh, it's really small. Reason. Down here. Statement. Try that again. Statement. So, here, then I'm going to have to take care of this problem here first. I can't. You're doing order of operations, or you're doing the backwards of order of operations. So addition and subtraction to get x variable by itself. In this case, I'll distribute first. So I get a negative 3x, and then here will be a positive 9. That's distributive property. Then I'm going to combine like terms here. This will get me negative 6. And then to get this negative 6x by itself, I'm going to do subtraction property of equality, subtract negative 9 from both sides. And here to get rid of this negative 6, because the math operation here is multiplication, then I'm going to divide by negative 6, so division property of equality. So I made this problem out of 4 points. And my scoring rubric is here. If you got them all correct, give you 4 points. 3 points if you missed. If you missed 1 or 2. If you didn't have this simplifying and combining like terms, we can do an example in class. I just gave you an extra credit point, or only made this one worth less. And then question number 12 is the same question from your chapter 1 test. Find the perimeter area. Perimeter, here's your equation. Perimeter equals ABC. So this doesn't really matter which one A, B, and C are, because addition commutative property of addition, which means you can just change the order and it's still the same. Add those all up and you get a perimeter of 18 units. And then here I have an area, which is area equals base times height divided by 2. The base is 8 and your height is 3. Divide that by 2 and you get 12 units squared. I gave you 1 point for the equation and then 1 point for the answer. Same thing over here.